Can you see my screen? All good?
Yes, we can see it.
Perfect, perfect. Thank you very much, Rick. All right, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much. Welcome to January 2022. I am a spring and summer person, so I'm even more excited because with each day, we're getting that much closer to sunshine and warmth. My name is Olga St. Pierre. I am a real estate agent with Keller Williams Real Estate. And a lot of you know me already because you have attended our other workshops. So welcome to a Declutter workshop. It is one of our popular ones that we offer in the first quarter of every year. And so I'm excited that you are here with us. So just a little bit about what we do. We are serving clients primarily in New Jersey and Pennsylvania, now going on to 13 years. Our team mission is helping anyone and everyone with the budget and desire to truly become a homeowner. And once you are a homeowner, we are here living and running right alongside with you and your families and helping you being a sustainable and responsible homeowner. Because as you know, once you buy your home, it doesn't stop there. You have to maintain the biggest investment that you do make. We do help with moving anywhere, United States and Canada. We do have offices and locations now in Europe as well. So we're happy to help you with your questions that pertain to real estate. And our concierge services here are available for you as well. Think of us as your virtual yellow pages, anyone from A to Z, whether it's muscle or you're looking for contractor recommendations for some of your dream projects or things that you need to get accomplished in your home to make sure that you maintain it well, to accountants, attorneys, any other professionals that you may think of. Please don't hesitate to reach out to us. We are here to help you with some good suggestions and recommendations and brainstorm any challenges that you may be facing. That is what we do on a daily basis. So let's jump right in. And today we are talking about decluttering. And I just want to ask you if, some of these things may ring true to you. Why are we talking about this? And what I want to point out to you is that decluttering is not just something that's hip and fun that we see on social media or on internet. It is something that is very much important to all of us that pertains to our physical and our mental health. And take a look at some of these questions. This is what I have gotten when I was working on this workshop originally a few years ago. These are some of the things that my clients have mentioned to me that were challenges to them as to why decluttering was a challenge for them, right? You may not know where to start. There's a lot of stuff that just keeps piling on. You're not sure which documents, which paperwork to keep and for how long. Of course, it becomes painful. It becomes too much. I can tell you that I have 2 daughters, and I think that sometimes it's their mission in life is to bring more stuff for me to go through and get rid of or keep. So what I want to discuss with you today and give you some thoughts and ideas on where to start, how to do it. And my goal is to give you a lot of information today, but what I encourage you to do is go back and review the recording of this workshop, because a lot of the times we don't pick up on everything the first time around. So I encourage you to go back and watch the video and then also go through this workbook and pick and choose the things that make sense to you, that you feel comfortable with, because everyone's situation is different. And whatever it is that you want to do work on as your decluttering project is going to be different for everyone. So things in our lives, and this is what I want you to think about, is they affect us on a couple of different levels. And what we're talking about is happiness, our health and productivity. And the 2 levels are conscious and subconscious. And the way to easily explain that to you is think about your habits when you get up in the morning. You usually, do your activities in the bathroom. Maybe you grab your shower, then you head into the kitchen, you put your coffee pot on, and then you get started with your day. And a lot of the times you don't think about these things because it is part of your routine, something that you have been doing every day, right? Every week. And all of a sudden, let's say you're making coffee and then you want to grab some creamer in the refrigerator and you realize that you ran out, right? The carton is empty because your child put it right back after being, emptying it and using it. And then you literally physically have to stop yourself from moving along in your process and saying, oh, well, I don't have any creamer, so do I use regular milk? Do I drink it black? Or do I now I need to put that creamer on my list of items that I need to buy next time I'm in the grocery store? So it takes you out of your routine because you stop and think, and it's not something that you do on the regular basis. So doing things on the subconscious level is what we do majority of the time, things that are part of our routine. And clutter affects us and weighs us down most of the time on the subconscious level. And if you were to think of an iceberg, I actually learned this recently in December. I was on a call on a class that I was taking, and they said, we want you to imagine conscious and subconscious level is like a big iceberg. If you know how the iceberg on top is just a small part that you physically see, but if you were to look under the water, the biggest part of the iceberg is actually under the water, right? It's about probably 75% of it is under the water. And they said that your subconscious is the iceberg under the water, which is 75% of the iceberg, and the conscious level is what you see on top is only 25%.
حاجة حط في
So
الحيطة
if
أكتر منها.
the iceberg, and if the clutter is going to affect us and weigh us down on the subconscious level, can you imagine just the weight of the physical and the mental stress the clutter is weighing down on us because it affecting our subconscious level, which is 75% of our thought process. Okay, so I want you to think about that. Overall, clutter can be a source of stress, physical problems, health issues, depression, focusing on sleeping, not being able to sleep because you have a lot of stuff maybe in your bedroom. So I want you to think about where it is that you may be thinking about working on your decluttering project, and to see if maybe it's affecting you on yourself and your health on the mental as well as the physical level. As clutter accumulates, the energy is going to stagnate. And I want you to think about that. When you walk into the room that is full of clutter, does that kind of give you a perception of going, I'm not feeling so excited about my day anymore because you see all that stuff, right? So we are talking about also how energy affects you and how clutter is full of negative energy. So the goal is when you declutter is to release, is to let go of the things that weigh you down, things that make you upset, things that make you mad, and then leave the room for the things that you absolutely love, that you want to pay more attention and that you want to focus on. And because so many of us are on this workshop today, and we always think about these things in December in terms of starting fresh, doing a refresh, I'm thinking that this is a little bit ding for you as well, and you are ready for change. So let's talk about the planning and how do you get started? And one thing that I want you to take away today is the fact that it does not have to be intimidating because you're not going to be able to tackle everything at once. Everything starts with a small step, right? A step by step by step, and you tackle a small piece of your project at a time. So the first thing that I encourage you to do is decide on and schedule an appointment with yourself. It's going to be your first time of tackling on your decluttering project. You can set aside an hour. If an hour seems to be daunting, set aside at least a half hour, right? You want to have a solid block of time so that way you can get started and actually get something accomplished, okay? And then once you get more comfortable, because this is just the first in your series of appointments with yourself, then you can then decide on what is the best time for you as you kind of get going. And remember, you are setting this as an appointment with yourself, which means you're going to respect it and you're going to appreciate it just like you would if you had to take your child to a pediatrician because they're not feeling well. You're not just going to say, oh, well, I just don't feel like it. So you're going to respect that appointment because it's important to you. I encourage you to get rid of all the distractions. Unfortunately, there's a lot of them. So a couple of them here is your phone. You are going to put it on silent. We're not checking text messages. We're not checking to see notifications from social media. The goal is to respect yourself and ask yourself to be fully present on what you're doing. And it's really what you're doing is just focusing on doing something for an hour. Next, you're going to change into comfortable clothing because I have bonus for you to share is the fact that decluttering is actually a workout. You are going to work up some sweat. So to me, someone who loves tips and tricks on how to make your life more easygoing, to find some interesting, ideas and things to help things go easier. The fact that you can declutter and make accomplishment and clean something up and be able to work out at the same time, that's a win-win for me. I hope you feel the same way too. But that's why I wear some yoga pants, something light, something that's not constricting, because you're going to be lifting up boxes, you're going to be running around and moving things around. Next, you want to make sure that you eat and have something to drink, because when you burn calories and you work, you're going to get hungry. And again, taking a break for eating is going to be a distraction. So make sure that you're coming into your appointment full tummy. We don't want you to be hangry, and you have some water to drink because you are going to get thirsty. And next, set the mood, whatever that means for you. If you want to play your favorite music list that is full of energy, or if you want to light a candle, turn on the lights, open the window, whatever works for you that makes you happy and gets you all pumped up, that is what you should be including with you. And next, I absolutely encourage you to have a notebook or notepad, something that you can use strictly for your decluttering project. It's something that you can then use as a reminder for yourself. Remember, one of the big things I think that we make mistake on is we always try to keep everything in our heads. And you are bound to forget something, and then you go into read yourself a lecture and you're going to get upset about it. So I'm a big believer in notepads and notebooks or sticky notes or whatever it is that's just going to help you just keep track of where you are, give yourself a reminder, maybe make plans for the next time that you're planning on resuming a declutter project. Next, let's talk about tools. And ladies and gentlemen, we're not making this very complicated, so don't overthink it. Don't think that just because you don't have totes, you don't have enough totes, you can't do it now. You can do this tonight. You can do this tomorrow morning. Instead of totes, use boxes. If you don't have boxes, use trash bags, right? Use something. And then here are a couple of suggestions for you just to kind of help you be organized, right? The goal is we are decluttering, and you have to have a little bit of a system to it. You can't just kind of throw things around, because it's only going to make matters worse. The trash can, recycle can, some storage bins or boxes, Post-it notes in different colors to help you with labeling, and some boxes or bags labeled with a couple of items, right? The goal is to walk away after 1 hour and have something in each of these boxes or bags. Items you're planning on keeping, things to be donated, things to be undecided, because that's okay to give yourself some grace if you're not sure what to do with it, because maybe you need to ask your parents or your sister, maybe they want to keep those items. And of course, throwing away stuff, which is trash, and then selling if you think that that item is going to bring some money. A couple of things just to keep in mind. It's okay to have things undecided, yet at the same time, you are here to make a decision. So go ahead and make it. If you haven't used something in a couple of years and it's collecting dust, it's time to donate it. It's time to sell it if you think it's going to bring money. We're going to be making decisions. We're keeping things that bring you joy and making you smile. Keep in mind, what are you trying to accomplish? What is the whole purpose of why you started decluttering, right? And then we're going to release the stuff that you just want to shed, stuff that maybe made you feel guilty, sad, unhappy, okay? And then the goal is you are going to stay focused for that 1 hour. And as soon as your timer goes off, and you can use a kitchen timer, microwave on your stove, or like a regular food prep timer, as soon as that's over, I encourage you to grab that notebook, and you're going to write some notes down in that notebook. Which room did you start? How much time did it take you? Do you feel that you have accomplished something? Where did you stop? Maybe you need to talk to your family members about certain items and give them a deadline that if they don't pick up those items that they said they wanted, you, after a certain date, are going to donate it or sell it, okay? And then you may want to set a reminder for yourself on when can I come back to this and continue chipping away on my project? When am I going to spend another 30 minutes or an hour on it, okay? So there are lots of different challenges and lots of different ideas that you can find on internet, and different things work for different people. And what I can tell you is that depending on what your personality is, different things are going to work differently for you. So I included some ideas here that I want you to kind of look and see if this kind of says, you know what, this talks to me. I love this. I may do this, right? 12-12-12 challenge, where you figure out 12 items to throw away, 12 items to donate, and then 12 items you're going to keep. There's another one where you actually do a little bit every day. It's 15 minutes every day, no matter what. You can do a bag a day or a box a day. You can do something every trash day. Like, for example, where I live, we have trash that gets picked up every Monday and Thursday. So I personally like the idea of throwing away something every trash day, okay? I like to involve my family. So this is an example that I'm giving you from my own experience. You can play a timed game. I love that. You know, for example, in the morning, I know that my coffee pot takes 7 minutes to boil. So as soon as I hit that button, I know I have 7 minutes to do something. So during those 7 minutes, I can go through my junk drawer. I can organize my utensils. I can empty and load the dishwasher. So figure out what it is that you want to do, maybe in the vicinity, and do it. You can reorganize your cup cabinet. You can go through your cups and plates and make sure they're not chipped. So there's a lot of things that you can accomplish if you time yourself, because it's now a game and you want to win that game and you race against the clock. You can also do one room per month. Let's say for the month of February, you want to focus on your master bedroom. So you kind of figure out and give yourself, you can take one of these 30-day calendars and say, well, on this first weekend, I'm going to go through my dresser. On the second weekend, I'm going to go through my closet, and kind of organize it that way. So a couple of different ideas. And then you also, if you want to really challenge yourself, you could do the 30-day declutter challenge, where it's telling you exactly where and what to do every day. So we can email this to you. You can find this on Pinterest, on Instagram, on lots of social media, different avenues. Just think about what's going to work for you, right? What makes you excited? Like, I love the timing game, right? Where you have certain amount of time. Like if you're cooking pasta, right? Depending on what kind of pasta you're making, it could be 7 to 10 minutes that you have the time for the pasta to cook until it's done. So you have 7 to 10 minutes to accomplish something. So what is that going to be for you? All right, let's jump in and look at what are we doing, right? So let's start with the kitchen. I know this is a lot of information. This is definitely packed, but we really want this to be impactful for you and give you some really cool checklist and also visual help. So that way you can then decide what works for you. Remember, when you are decluttering, if you want to work on your house, the goal is to declutter and then also set up some kind of a system so that way you never get to that point again, right? So let's say you are tackling your kitchen. So what kind of organization items can we invest in, right? We're not spending money, we're investing in systems and something that will help you and make your life easier, so that way you don't ever have to declutter. You can spend a few minutes here and there, like I mentioned to you, as part of a challenge, yet you help yourself and you set up the system so that way it will be easier going on forward, okay? So focus on just a couple of items at a time, a drawer or a cabinet at a time. Don't forget that refrigerator needs to be decluttered as well. And think about some of the ways that you can set up your own refrigerator. What I like to do is I like to keep condiments in one place. Other pieces, things that my daughters eat on a regular basis, another place. My eggs are always on one level and one shelf, so that way I know when we're starting to run low on those items, I can quickly jot them down on my grocery list. So think about how you can organize your refrigerator. And if you want to make it easier for the whole family, label where everything should go, right? Get a label maker, invest in one. I think it's a great product as part of your whole system. This way, everybody knows where you think all the items should go, and then it just takes the guesswork out of everything, okay? Use clear glass or plastic storage containers so that you can see things. Get yourself a food storage guide so that way you know when products expire and they really should be thrown away. Remember, just because item does not have an expiration date doesn't mean that it's going to last you forever. You can get one from FDA, or we can send you a copy as well that I use myself. Next, think about truly how many cups and utensils do you really need on a regular basis. I want you to go through your cabinets and see if some of your stuff is chipped, if it's just discolored, if it's just plain old and needs to be retired. Give yourself grace to buy some new items. And you should also be going through your utensils on a regular basis. the spatulas and our plastic scrapers, our wooden utensils, they do wear out and go bad. And the last thing you want to be doing is eating pieces because they're now chipping away because they have just at their end life. Next, think about what your kitchen cabinets look like and how do you maximize the space that you have. Do you want to potentially get some kitchen organizers so that way you can utilize all the height and the space that you have in your cabinets? What about an over the door pantry organizer, right? You can use tension rods to hang your cleaning supplies, curtain rods to hold things. I'm a big believer on truly utilizing the space that you have, especially if you are in older homes that have lower ceilings, they have smaller closets. How do we maximize our space so that way we don't get frustrated with the space that we have, but we truly use the systems? And all these organization items, there's so much stuff out there. You can probably find something that will fit every nook and cranny in the space that you do have. Let's head into bathrooms. The same thing. Let's start with the stuff that we have, okay? And we're all guilty of loving and seeing those beautiful, sparkly, colorful labels. That's what the marketer's job is, to make us buy stuff, not necessarily for the product, but how it looks. And that's okay, right? Give yourself some grace. Yet, what I'm encouraging you to do is take everything out that you have in your bathroom, all of your lotions and shampoos and conditioners and the other stuff that has been sitting and accumulating dust probably in your vanity cabinet. Now, I want you to think about, when did you buy them? If you don't remember, it's time to throw it away, especially items that you put on your skin, right, that you put on your body. Remember that our skin is the biggest organ of our body. And because of all those items not needing refrigeration, there's lots of chemicals in all of the products that we use, right? Our lotions, our sprays, creams, and so forth. So I encourage you to have a respect for your body and what you put in it and what you put on it, and swap out those products as often as every 6 months, right? Buy some fresh a bottle of lotion and buy a smaller bottle. This way you use it up and then you buy a fresh one again, okay? Definitely look through all your medicine cabinet. Make sure you check your expiration dates and do the same thing with medicine, and take a look and see if maybe there's something that you can get a fresh refill, right? And make your list. Again, write it down. Don't think you're going to remember. Use a notebook or a notepad. Set and plan your routines. What are you using in the morning and what are you using at night? All right, the things that like floss and toothpaste, brushes, so that way everything is within easy reach. You can use plastic stackable food storage bins, the same ones that you have in the kitchen. Again, don't make it complicated. Get all the same stuff and use them pretty much everywhere throughout the house. Same thing as what I already mentioned to you about lotions and creams and products. I encourage you to do the same thing for makeup. What I've decided that makes it easier for me, and I'm trying to uncomplicate things because we all have lots of things going on in our lives, is twice a year. Once is in December and January when we have some good sales because of the holidays. You throw away all your makeup and you buy everything fresh, right? Because a lot of the times you run out of your eyeshadow and your mascara anyway. So give yourself a gift, the opportunity, and make it fun. You are gifting yourself, right? You're not just gifting to others, but you are gifting yourself some of your favorite items that then you get to use for the next 4 to 6 months. And then the next time is going to be around 4th of July. During the month of July, you are going to refill and restock your favorite products again. And it's another opportunity to gift yourself something that you have been using on a regular basis, or maybe you may want something fresh, okay? And the same thing in your vanity. A lot of the bathrooms are small, so think about how can you maximize the current space that you have, whether it's your vanity cabinet, maybe get some shelves about your toilet where you can put some pretty bottles that you can invest in, some glass, even like ball glass bottles or something like that, that you can put some cotton balls and cotton swab and make it pretty as well. Let's head into the bedrooms. So I want you to think about how well you sleep. If you're not sleeping well, I would like for you to take a look around your room and see if there's a lot of clutter, because as you know, a lot of clutter may be affecting you on that subconscious level and not helping you sleep, right? Because we have full of stuff in the bedroom, we are going to feel guilty. You may not truly think about it and understand it, but it's there. And what happens is when the brain tries to ignore clutter, it's actually taking an effort and it's using energy, and it's going to be draining on you without you even realizing. And sometimes you may wonder, why do I feel so tired? I just, I just slept for the whole night. Well, because your brain is not stopping, right? It's not stopping to relax because it's still processing and working. So the next step is, yes, we're heading into our closets, ladies and gentlemen. And it's something that you may want to take a deep dive into. And yes, it's going to take you maybe more than a 1 hour session. And I make it very simple. Let's just make it very, very simple. The gurus on TV might say, oh, if you haven't worn something in 6 months, it has to come out. Okay, let's give ourselves grace and let's give ourselves 2 seasons, right? That's 2 years. So if you haven't worn something for 2 winters, it's probably not going to get worn. So let's go ahead, donate it, or maybe sell it. Okay. If some of your clothes that is stained or torn or in bad shape, if you don't like something, or if something that is too small or too large, please stop waiting for you to lose weight, to gain weight, to like it again. All it's doing is just collecting dust. Okay. An idea to help you make that decision is you can put a box or a bin that's going to say donate on it inside your closet, right? And when it's time for it to bag it up, and then you put a couple pieces here and there, and when it's full, it's time for it to go. Okay. You have probably heard about the reverse hanger trick idea as well. In the beginning, you turn all of your hangers backwards, and then you need to wear something and then you hang it in the opposite direction. So the goal is for you to kind of get an idea, what do you wear on a regular basis and what don't you wear? Okay. So just some food for thought again on some of the things that you think may work for you that you actually will have fun doing, right? Here you can use the same plastic storage bins like you're using in the kitchen and the bathrooms. If you want, you can use cube storage bins. And I want you to think about the space that you have in your closet and how much of it you are using. If you're not using everything from top to bottom, you need to get some closet-made storage organizers. Invest in a system that will help you use truly every single nook and cranny that you have in your closet space. Here are some ideas for you. If in a lot of the homes that I see with my clients, especially older homes, you may not have big closet space. And what you can do is IKEA sells these really, really nice wardrobes. They are very inexpensive. They look very classy, and you can add them, you can decorate them. You can even hang like a full-size mirror on the front, which is helpful to a lot of us. And it will help you get things organized, but still look nice and tidy. So you can have some standing organization items. You can even put a dresser in the closet. I have done that with my children, which was the easiest and the fastest way. I actually have a dresser in my closet in the back of this room that is I have my freezer in there, and I put a dresser in there, and then I use some of my decorating items that I use for staging for my clients in their houses. And I just use a plain dresser because that was just the easiest and the fastest way to get things organized. It's definitely a good idea. So there's tons of different other jewelry organizers. You don't have to buy one for you to be organized. You can use hooks. You can use just levers. You can even use a shower tension rod if you wanted to get some organization going, and make it pretty, but make it very simple for you to get things organized. Let's talk about our living room space where we spend a lot of time and we want to also unwind and relax. So here I want you to start with paper. If you have lots of books and bookshelves, if you have magazines, if you have things that are just accumulate because you wanted to read something, here's what I want you to do. If there's any books that you have read that you want to keep because you keep rereading them, which I also have as well, great, you're going to keep them. If the books are no longer dated or you don't want to read them anymore, take them out and donate them, take them to the library. If you have old textbooks or encyclopedias or old magazines, all of those need to be recycled. Don't even bother taking them to the library because they're not going to take them. Go through other things that may be in your living room, whether it's your electronics, your cords, Inspect your pillows and blankets that are in the living room, especially if you have your furry friends and children. A lot of times they love those blankets, they love those pillows, and after some time they get really well used, and maybe it's time to replace them with some new pretty items. Okay. And you can actually, if you do have the electronics and the remotes and things, you can get very pretty boxes. You can even use some sort of like a jewelry box, and that's where you can kind of hide all your things. And this way, nothing ever gets lost. You're not going to misplace the remote. Nobody's going to sit on it, and it's all organized and it's all in one place. Ottomans are also a great idea to use for storage for just about anything, whether it's pillows or blankets or magazines or more. Or right now we have baskets, right? Lots of people the baskets are in style, in that is your style. You're definitely welcome to grab those and use them as storage as well. Heading into the garage and basement, this is your true opportunity to maximize your storage, guys. I don't have garage or basement in my house, so I use every nook and cranny in my closets, and I also have storage space in my attic. So I use some of these tips as well. So clear totes, right? Make sure that you have clear totes, or if you have other totes, you have something written on them, what's inside. You can also have zones designated for different things that you want to store. Like, for example, maybe it's your skiing equipment, or it's your holiday decorations for different seasons. Have things all in one place and have it clearly labeled. Also, I encourage you to kind of look around your space and see, can you use your ceiling and not just your walls, right? Remember, the goal is to get stuff off of your floor, especially if it's in the garage. You really want to keep your car in there because it's a more expensive investment than some totes. Let's use some of these shelves and these brackets to hang things in the ceiling. You can get these heavy duty shelves. You can get these organizers that you can hang on the wall and organize things really well. And again, this is a system that you're investing in to help you manage the stuff that you have for the future. All right, let's talk about how long to keep paperwork. We're heading into the office area. We have dealt with our paperwork that I already mentioned to you, but I get this question all the time. Olga, I have a ton of papers. I know they're important. They are my medical bills. They are something else. And I keep it and I have it in folders, but it's overflowing. But I'm afraid to throw something away because I don't know if I'm going to need this. So I encourage you to print this slide, hang it in your office or hang it on your refrigerator, wherever you think is going to help you with using this as a reference, okay? So the item that I want to truly focus on today is called Keep Forever, which is the last point on this slide. And I want you to think about some of your most important documents that you have received in your life, starting with your high school diploma, your marriage certificate, will and power of attorney, death certificates, transcripts, instructions, directives, legal documents, payoff of the mortgages, vaccination records, stocks, bond certificates. I have a whole list here for you. And what I'm encouraging you to do, if you don't have anything else to put them in, start with a tote and designate that tote as all your important documents. I specifically do that with someone who is downsizing, the family, someone who is, is a baby boomer and they are downsizing in their house and they don't know where to keep stuff and so forth. I tell them, okay, start with a tote, at least for now, and put all of your important documents there. This is something of a system that I encourage you to set up so that way you have a safe place for your documents starting today and going forward. The best ways that I have found to keep these documents either in a safe that you can buy at Lowe's, on Home Depot, or online, and it's a fireproof safe. It has to be with a key, or a safety deposit box at the bank. I have a safe in my own house. I have it in the bedroom, and all of these important documents are being kept in there. And the reason why it's so important is, God forbid something happens and your documents get damaged from water or fire. Some of those items are just simply irreplaceable, or it may take months and months of waiting to get them from the government agency. So I encourage you to read through this list and see what you have. And I encourage you to set up your system now, so that way you won't ever have to run into a situation again. Now, in terms of shredding, I am a big proponent of having a shredder. You can get one very inexpensively on Amazon. Anything that has your signature or your account number, social security number for sure, or if you have doubt whether you need to shred something or not, I encourage you to shred it anyway. This way you're not going to run into an issue of someone stealing your identity. So how do we organize papers? I get this question all the time. Do I use some kind of a system? And I have some suggestions here for you, right? You can do it by a certain way of receipts. You can do it by education. You can have a little tote with folders or some kind of other organizer. So think about how much paperwork you need to keep and what is going to make sense to you, right? Everything needs a home. You can quickly file it away. I'm also a big believer in using cloud storage, which is a Google Drive or Dropbox, where you scan things in and then you can shred the actual paper document. When you have a scanned version, your documents are not going to get lost, or they're not going to get eaten by your dog, and they're not going to fade away. So you have a peace of mind knowing that those documents still exist and you can easily find them, okay? Labeling absolutely is key. If I needed paperwork or something else for safety, is going to go into a shred box that you take care of either once a week or maybe once a month, that you can keep in the office. I actually keep my shredded pile in a paper bag from the grocery store. And then once a month, I shred everything in my office. And as I mentioned to you, the label makers are inexpensive. They're fun and easy to use, and you can use them for lots of different ways as you are going through your decluttering project around the house. Let's talk about throwing away. Remember, I mentioned to you that you can gamify and you can say, well, if my trash comes every 2 days every week, I'm going to make it a point to throw something away. Well, here is some ideas for you, right? How do we utilize and make this as inexpensive as possible? Well, if your township has a bulk trash day, I know mine does, go ahead and jot it down on your calendar, so that way you know when it's coming, and start collecting those big items, okay? Use your regular trash and recycle days. This way it's your deadline every week to put out something little by little for every pickup. Rabbit Recycling on the Pennsylvania side actually has a recycling subscription, and they can help you recycle and get rid of just about anything. So check that out as an option. Of course, we have services like 1-800-GOT-JUNK and the Junk King trucks. Electronic recycling, remember, you can't put things out to the curb anymore, so you do need to make plans. Here are some suggestions that are best for you. Best Buy, townships, county has recycling days for hazard as well as electronics every spring and fall. I always jot them down on my calendar. This way, if I do come across something, or maybe one of my clients does, they know where to bring it. And that is the easiest way to get rid of things safely. And Baxter is for waste management. It's an actual bag. It's a dumpster in the bag, right? You can put it anywhere in your property. And then if you have a big project, or maybe you're doing some kind of renovation, you put those items in the bag, and then a truck will come out and collect a bag that is full for you. Let's talk about donating. You, of course, can always use your trusted local resource like Salvation Army, Goodwill, Good Stuff Thrift that we have here in PA. Purple Heart will come to your door. However, if you are looking for certain places that focus on certain donations, like, for example, suits or nice women's clothing, I have some suggestions here for you that I have listed on ideas on where you can make donations depending on the type of items that you have. So what about these items? These items are the things that make all of us feel guilty. And this is why we keep stuff that we have inherited from our grandparents, that we have inherited from our aunts and uncles, because they wanted us to store these things, because we feel that if we get rid of those things, we're going to let our loved ones down. So I have some suggestions here for you, because ultimately we're not letting them down. We just need to make a decision on how to sort those things the best way, and how do we keep memory of those things. So You can choose a few pieces to display. You can make a piece of art like a collage or frame, and then take photos of larger pieces to keep memories. The same thing with photos and albums. That is a biggie for some of our older clients and friends. We have albums that are starting to yellow, the pictures that, if they're not properly stored, they're starting to disintegrate. It is absolutely important to make sure that we get those pictures scanned in so that way we don't lose memories of our loved ones. And there's lots of different services that provide those, that have the technology and provide those services. And you know what I found easy for me, and I did read that recently somewhere, is they said, well, what about like holiday cards? People send them to me and I don't want to throw them away. And what I ended up doing is I actually created a couple of different folders on my phone, and they are of different values to me, right? So I have some notes, I have things, I have some screenshots, I actually have recipes. So I started actually doing different folders on my phone for different things. And one of the folders is some of these personal notes and letters that I get on a regular basis from my clients, from my friends, from colleagues. And what I do is I take a picture of the front of the card and then of the actual message, and then I throw it away. This way, I still have the memory of someone writing to me. I'm not going to forget it because I can quickly look through it on my album. Yet at the same time, the actual paper is not going to crowd and get dusty in my house, in my office. If you have DVDs, CDs, and VHSs, VHS is not needed by most people anymore. You can recycle that, and then you can definitely donate the rest. The secondhand stores will take the rest for somebody who wants to buy them. Here are some suggestions for you to do some work, artwork storage. I know I've seen some really creative ways of people hanging them with clothespins. You can make some really pretty collage of your children's and grandchildren's artwork. What I decided to do is I actually have a tote, and I keep projects from my kids. Like, they're older now, so they don't have as many projects, but when they were younger, I would pick and choose so many pieces from each school year, and I would keep them there. And on the back of each project, I would write who was it, which one of my daughters, and then the date when they drew that, or at least a month of the year, so that way I can have a good reference. So decide what makes sense for you. Do you want to display those, or do you want to keep them in private just for yourself, or maybe framing them, and see what makes sense to you, what's going to make you happy. Selling and who can help you. We talked about the fact that if you are going through the items and you think that it has some kind of monetary value, if that is the case, absolutely. But just remember, you can't just put it in the box and let it sit, right? You actually need to figure out and maybe put it up on eBay and to see if somebody's going to buy it. So just remember, all of this takes time. It takes time to upload, to add, to write the description, and to publish it. So I have some ideas here for you. You can go the old route of eBay. You can do lots of things with different apps. And of course, there's Facebook sale groups. There's lots of different options on social media. And I have listed them for you here. So here is your action plan. I know that we have talked about lots of different things and ideas, but I want you to really just stop and think about, what are you trying to accomplish? Do you have your whole house to work on? Then if that is the case, pick your favorite room and start there. If it's your car, if it's just maybe your dresser, if it's your parents' house that you have, maybe you have accumulated some things that came in from your family members, just start by writing down what is it that you want to accomplish, right? Take that notebook down and start writing. What are your concerns? What's bothering you? Why do you feel that you need to start this project? Do you need help? Do you need to maybe hire someone to help you get organized and sort and donate things? Maybe you have lots of antiques and items that need to be appraised. So do you need an antique appraiser? Do you have a deadline? Some of us might have a deadline because we need to put the house on the market because our loved one passed away. And do you have furniture to get rid of? So all these things you can write down, because making a list and writing things down is going to help your brain realize that you have started, you have made progress, and it's going to make you feel like you're in control as well and you are doing something, okay? Painter's Blue Tape is your friend. They actually sell them now in lots of different colors. If you want to figure out and sort things in terms of I'm keeping this, I'm going to donate this, I'm going to sell this, definitely grab it because you can write with Sharpie on that tape. And of course, the number one thing is you need to decide on when are you going to have your first appointment. Maybe it's Saturday morning, maybe it's Friday night. Decide on what works best with your schedule, put it on your calendar, make sure that you'll keep it. And I hope that the handy room by room guide that we have provided in this workbook for you, I know it's packed with information, but if you take just a few tips and tricks out of every room, and hopefully that will help you in your own project with whatever you're trying to declutter. So here's what's next. If you need help with contractors or organizer or someone with your decluttering project, please let us know. You are getting a copy of this PDF in this workbook with our contact information. And if we can help you brainstorm on the project that you're working on, I'm more than happy to. I also encourage you to take before, during, and after photos because it will help you and get you excited about the progress that you are making. And of course, you can head out to our YouTube channel. We're going to have a copy of this workshop uploaded. A copy of the PDF book is going to be handy, as well as the resources that we mentioned for you here. That's what I have to share with you today. And now, if anyone has questions or suggestions, or maybe you have your own tips and tricks for decluttering that have worked for you, I would love to hear them. Hi, Wendy. You just need to unmute yourself and then you fire away.
Hi, how are you all? I have probably the biggest problem here because I'm an artist and I use a lot of recycled things in my art. But I did listen recently to I am more of a clutterer, and I did listen to somebody else recently, and you were far and above. It was just great what you did. You're so well organized, and it's helpful to someone like me that doesn't, in our house, we were 4 kids and our mother just put things everywhere. We didn't learn organizing skills. And one day my older brother organized us younger ones and we organized everything in the kitchen. And within days, my mother had it all mixed up, the ketchup with the spoons and things. So I really do appreciate it. My son-in-law is in something, a tech thing called user experience, and it makes me think about, they always do all technological things. And maybe some people like me have an Amazon, I'm blanking on the name of it, but like you say either, okay, Google or hey, Alexa, those, what are those things called? I have word loss sometimes, but you know what I mean. If you have one of those, you can just say, she's going to do it if I say it now, but Alexa, put paper towels on my shopping list. And then, yeah, and that's something new for me because as I think of things, I just put it, and that's great. I don't even have to write it down. So I was going to suggest that. And you have a lot of wonderful ideas. If you do want to sell some things, what is like the easiest of all the choices that you've given? And should you only kind of invest time in it if it's something really of great value?
What I have found that is if you contact an organizer, someone who helps with that, you're going to be your best resource for figuring out if something has value or not. Like, for example, some people say, well, I have crystal, I have Lennox, and I can tell you that everybody else is going to have the same thing. And the organizer, being that is what she works with every day, she'll be able to tell you, Wendy, that is not worth anything. Like if you go to a thrift store, you'll see that glass and cut glass and all of that just galore, and nobody's buying it because each generation had their own special items that they treasured, yet every generation that comes along appreciates other things that change with time. So especially like with antiques, that's what I will always do. Somebody comes to me and says, Olga, I have some antique furniture. I want to say I have Chippendales or something. And I will always reach out to a couple of organizers that I know, and I'll ask them, say, hey, Cindy, I have someone who has this. Is this, can you two connect and then figure it out? And then the organizer has their own resources depending on what they come across, and they have their own kind of network of people that either buy those things or they know someone who can take care of them, whether it's furniture or other items.
Okay, thank you so much for everything.
My pleasure. All right, let's check the chat if you wanted to write some things down in there as well. Okay. Oh, so you're in the loft in New York City, so you probably don't have a lot of space, do you? Uh-huh. Oh, it's beautiful. All those windows and full of light. I love it. I can't hear you because you're on mute.
The windows are 6 by 8 feet and they, but not a lot of wall space, but yeah, I'm lucky. Sorry, I'm lucky to be here.
Wonderful. Yes, you will get all the pages in the handout, Wendy. I will send it out as a PDF because then you can use that as a checklist or reference to help you. Yes, okay. Perfect. So Roxy, yes, definitely everything is going to be recorded. I know we have every page is full packed with information, but that's why we want to make sure that we have your contact information so we can get you a copy of it as a PDF. If anyone wants us to print it out, because I'm still, a lot of things that I do are still old school, I actually like to have a printout, right? A piece of paper with a pen or a pencil so you can jot down ideas. We're happy to do that too for you if you don't have the ability to print yourselves. All right. Anybody else has anything, quite any other questions before we wrap up? Absolutely, Maria, my pleasure. Oh, Joanne says that she has boxes of Barbie dolls and McDonald's toys. Barbies actually are collectibles, and there is a website. I have to get that for you. I'll send you an email, Joanne. There is a website where you can go online and check and see if anyone is selling those items and if it's popular or not. I'll have to get that information for you because someone else was asking me about some of the smaller collectibles. Jess, do you remember that one? No? I have to look through our notes, through our spreadsheet for resources.
Yeah, I'll have to look it up.
Okay. Yeah, we'll get that information over to you. Hopefully that'll be helpful, Joanne. Okay. All right, everybody. You so Wendy says seniorplanet.org, they have people do one-off courses. I think this was very smart. Okay, we'll take a look at it as well. Absolutely. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me today. Have a great and productive start of your decluttering project, and we'll get you copies of everything that we have shared with you in the next couple of days, okay?
Thanks, Olga.
My pleasure. Have a good day, everybody.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
You too. Be well.